That year, the rains barely came. Even at night, the air stayed hot and dry. The pride slept uneasily. Under an old acacia tree lay a lioness. Beside her was her cub. He wasn't breathing. She nudged him with her nose. Once more. He didn't move. The lioness looked at him for a long time. Then she slowly stood up and walked into the dark.
A light appeared in the distance. Headlights cut through the dark. A vehicle drove into the savannah. It stopped in the middle of the dry grass. The door opened. A man stepped out. He opened the trunk and pulled out a heavy sack. A faint squeak came from inside. The man clenched his teeth. He took a few steps and threw the sack into the grass.
Die, you freak!
Die, you little freak! He got back into the vehicle. The red lights disappeared into the night. The sack was left alone, and the sound inside grew louder. The grass rustled. Eyes appeared in the dark. Hyenas moved closer. They caught the scent. One of them nudged the sack with its paw. A thin squeak came from inside. A hyena grabbed the fabric with its teeth. The sack tore open. Inside was a small puppy. He was trembling and making a faint sound. The hyenas leaned in. Then the lioness stepped out of the dark. She growled. The hyenas backed away. The lioness walked up to the puppy. He reached toward her. She lowered her head and smelled him, and she did not walk away.
She doesn't hesitate. Gently, she takes him by the scruff. He's so small, barely holding on, and just as alone as she is. The cub was not welcome. He smelled different, and he didn't look like the others. One of the older lionesses decided to set things right, but the younger lioness was ready to defend him as if he were her own. The pride did not accept him. He remained an outsider, but they did not drive him away. They spared her and allowed him to stay. He grew up with them. He played, he ran, he rolled in the dust. While he was small, they tolerated him, but he was never quite the same. He ran faster than the others and tired out first. When he tried to roar, smoke slipped out with the sound. The cubs stepped back, watching him carefully. He would drift away on his own, and she was the only one who always stood by him.
But one day, disaster came to their home. It smelled wrong, just like the day he himself was brought here. Two-legged ones, without mercy. They did not know the laws of the pride. They did not care who had lived here before. They came to take. The roar of engines tore through the silence. Dust rose above the grass. He did not understand why those who had just been running were suddenly falling, why the air filled with fear. The old leader charged forward. He had been harsh, sometimes unfair, but he stood between them and danger, and he did not rise again. She pushed him aside, hard, without words. Run. The world narrowed to her breathing, to her eyes. She was holding on, with the last of her strength. Run, Lil One. Don't look back. The ground exploded with dust nearby. He took a step back. His heart pounded so loudly he could hear nothing else. And then he ran, because she told him to. And for the first time in his life, he was truly alone. He ran, until his legs began to fail, until the world turned into barren land at the edge of the savannah. And there, he fell, alone.
The ground burned beneath his paws. He walked, barely able to go on. He drank dew. He fell. And for the first time, he understood. Without his family, he was nothing. The air pressed against his chest. He remembered his mother. He remembered her support. Pain was no longer weakness. He rose. His mane ignited. The stones beneath his paws began to melt. He is no longer running. He is Flame Mane.
Night covered the camp. They laughed, drank, certain everything was under control. Behind iron bars, the lions stood in silence, weak but alive. They thought the darkness was their shield. They were wrong. He returned. Out of the shadows stepped Fire. Quiet, controlled. One strike, the tent collapsed. The laughter died. Gunshots split the air. But he did not run. His flame was no longer his curse. It had become his strength. Fire swept across the ground before the vehicles. Engines ignited. Men scattered in panic. The leader tried to escape. The jeep lunged forward. He caught it. Impact. Steel twisted. The vehicle flipped and burst into flames. The man crawled out, alive, and dropped to his knees. He could have ended it there, but he turned away. Steel bent beneath his paws. Cages opened one by one. The lions stepped out slowly. She came out last. Their eyes met. The pride leader stepped forward and lowered his head. Not in fear, in recognition. He did not become a lion, and he never tried to be. But that night, the pride accepted him.
This is how it ended. Growlithe saved his family. They never fully understood him, but they never pushed him away either. His mother, the one who once shielded him, was standing beside him again. And right now, that was enough. She touched her forehead to his, and in that quiet moment, he knew he had done what he needed to do. For the first time, he didn't feel alone. He stood with them, not above, not in front, just with them. And that was enough.